what is going on. Let me make sure that we can hear ourselves. All right. All right, good. All right, what's going on? It looks like we can hear ourselves. Now, I gotta get used to this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching me live, if you're watching me broadcast as a rebroadcast, welcome to you. We're gonna have some fun. Now, I'm excited. As you can see, I'm looking up. I have to get used to looking up. I upgraded the camera. Believe it or not, I still don't have a real life camera. I use an iPhone for the most part. There are over 1,200 videos on this channel, and it's all iPhones. All right. And with that being said, I think I'm excited because you could probably tell in the difference in the quality of this picture because I've upgraded from the webcam on my MacBook Pro to the iPhone, and I figured out how to use an app to connect those today, and it's exciting that we can do this right now. So with that being said, we're still gonna it's not gonna make much difference in terms of we always brought quality anyway. So shout out to you that you continue to support this channel by hitting the like button, by subscribing to the channel, by every now and then I get a comment here and there. This is not the most popular channel, but I try my best. If you're really getting value from here, please make sure that you let everybody else know by simply hit the share button and share it to people that you feel will get some value from what we're talking about today. So with that being said, I think we're ready to get to today started. Or what do you think? All right, thank you very much. So now here's the thing. I have some stuff I want to share with you today. Today's topic, I'm gonna give you some quick overview on what you should look out for when it comes to cold calling in 2022. Okay, cold calling is a good strategy, but it's just as good as how consistent you're gonna be. Like everything else, even driving for dollars, right? I completely disagree with driving for dollars, but the truth is that there are some success stories out there, and the part that they usually miss is telling you how many people and how many mileage they have to drive before they get one deal. It's kind of hard to come up with that, but people do get lucky. But the key word is luck. Over here, I try to cover things that you don't need luck, as long as you're willing to be consistent. Then I'll give you some insights to the idea of marketing in general. Every marketing strategy works. It's just a matter of, are you willing to be consistent long enough? Are you going to stay in the game long enough before it works? All right. So now, with that being said, let me remove the earphones since I'm not really feeling any music yet. Now, with that being said, I think today I'm going to share some stuff with you as usual. The only thing I ask you here, you don't need my personal coaching, by the way. You don't. I have 2 free courses out there, and you can access all of them by simply going through realestatemoneysecrets.com. I have 2 massive free courses on how to generate money from home using real estate investing, particularly with a strategy called wholesaling. Wholesaling is the heart and the science of finding deeply discounted properties for real estate investors, and you make money by simply assigning the right to purchase these properties to them. So you have to find these deals, you have to lock in these deals with a purchase contract that gives you the right to purchase the property at a deep discount. What do I mean by this deep discount? We're talking about 65% or lower. Ideally, we want you to be around 40%, even if the house doesn't need any kind of work. How is that possible? Because people do have life events that happens. Reasons why they may need to get rid of a piece of property for a lot cheaper than what it's worth. You ever heard of pawn shops, right? Or pawn shops where you go and you sell stuff very cheaply, cheaper than what is actually worth because you need cash. The same thing applies in real estate, and it's just about your ability to be able to find this kind of deals. The way we're able to do that is we go after distressed homeowners that are going to foreclosure, divorce, tax delinquencies. They owe too much money on the property. The property is underwater. They owe much more than what the property is worth. There's all this kind of different scenarios. Bankruptcy, out of bankruptcy, not active bankruptcy, right? So we have all those different type of scenarios out there that present opportunities for you and I, and especially for the investors. And investors, they don't have the luxury of time, right? Cash buyer investors, they don't have the luxury of time like people that are just getting started. So, but you have more time than you have more money, very likely, right? If you're like the rest of the world, most people in the world have more time than they have money. The investors have money, but they don't have time. And this is where you can bring in value into the game. All right. So if you're liking the quality of this video, if this makes it different for you, please do let me know in the chat. I would like to know that you're feeling it on your end. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and let's get into some really cool stuff. As usual, I like to demonstrate using using the software here. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Where is that software? There you go. So I like to demonstrate. Let's say screen share. Share screen. So I also have to learn how to relax and not be in a rush when I'm talking. I'm so used to recording pre-recorded videos that but I want to be able to do this long enough for you. I want to come back every Monday, every Thursday. Today we came back a little bit late at 7 p.m. instead of 4 p.m., which is market close time. That's when I like to do it. I came back a little bit later today because I had a project that I have to monitor outside of the studio. So I had to be out there today. So I decided to reschedule it for 7 and yesterday. So hopefully you knew that ahead of time. But you can count on me that I will always come back. We have 1,200 plus videos on this channel on this topic. You don't have to buy my coaching program. The only thing you have to pay for here is my personal time. Why? Because I can't afford my personal time even for free, right? That's the only thing you have to pay for. Everything is free. Then maybe the software, after the software, which you can get at empirebigdata.com, you can try it absolutely free for 7 days. Again, cost you nothing to actually see what it's about. But after that, I think they do charge you a fee, and that fluctuates. I don't know what exactly that is. So I can't speak to that right now, but it's the same software that I use personally. So I was talking about you don't have to pay for courses. You don't have to. No, you don't. It's completely up to you. Obviously, if you pay for coaching, it can reduce your learning curve significantly, also give you certain types of access in terms of coaching. But honestly, over here, if you go through realestatemoneysecrets.com, you get access to my private number where you can text me. So the truth is that I want you to learn this game, because when you learn this game, you bring deals to us as well. You bring deals to the other investors and cash investors out there, but you also bring deals to me, and we get to make money together. So, and I'm going to be honest with you, the horizon where we are right now as well, I think, everyone is becoming smarter, increased IQs, and you can pick up a few knowledge here and there. I have 1,200 videos here, like I said, right? And I have 2 free courses. You can access them on this channel. You can also access them through Real Estate Money Secrets that will walk you step by step through what you need to do. Plus, I come here live and I show you exactly what we're doing like this right now, So the first thing I want to do today, like I said, we are today we're covering what you should pay attention to for cold calling, okay, as we move into the future. The truth is that when I started back in 2005, the game was quite different. Everybody, their moms and their pops were not wholesalers at the time. Today, I mean, you can imagine just on this channel alone, I have 1,200 videos. So a lot of people are coming into the game, right? As you can imagine, a lot of people are coming into the game. So, and I think that's a good thing. That's what we wanted. But the cream always rises to the top, right? Always. So the game still belongs to those who are willing to be consistent, those who can commit to consistency and learn it, right? And that's going to require some effort on your part, regardless. Like I said, a coach, a mentor may reduce your learning curve, but it's not necessary if you feel like you can go through a few step-by-step instructions and execute. All the materials are right here. All right. So with that being said, let me see. Let me pick it up. We're gonna go ahead and just do property of the day, right? I'm gonna go the city I want to go to today. I have Seattle in Washington. I have Denver, Colorado. I have San Francisco, California. That's interesting. Okay, so I generally don't go to California and New York. Just so you know, I just don't. All right. I'm still looking at the video. It's fantastic, right? Portland, Oregon. I like that. Miami, Florida is quite busy these days, and it's getting more expensive, right? Oakland, California. I don't go to California generally. Precisely, I don't waste my time or money, resources, from particularly for marketing in California and New York. Why? Because it's just quite a highly sophisticated state, and because especially places like New York City or Los Angeles, maybe outside of those, I would say don't discount it, but there are 50 states in the United States. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you're watching me from outside of the United States, you can do this business, real estate, United States real estate. Okay, as long as you're taking equitable interest, meaning there's a contract. You can do it from anywhere in the world as long as you have internet, you have a smartphone, you have internet connection. Then you can do it. However, I only teach United States real estate because things change when you go from local markets to market. Even within the 50 United States, things change very quickly within states. So we always make it an effort to partner with people that are local, because real estate is local in nature. But just keep that in mind that when you're learning this, it's really virtual wholesaling that I teach here. You can practice the same thing anywhere, from anywhere in the world, on United States real estate. You'll get paid by simply helping investors that are in the United States find deals. It's really that simple. All right. So I think we should go to Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon. So I'm going to type that here. We're talking about cold calling today, right? Cold calling. So let's keep that at the back of our mind. All right, Portland, Oregon. We have interesting. It's not too big of a market, but decent, right? We have 323,000 unique properties on the record, right? This is the beauty about this software. This is the same software that you can access for free for 7 days at empirebigdata.com, right? All right, and then we have 550 properties on the market right now. We also have 34 pre-foreclosures. That's not a lot. So 34 pre-foreclosures is not a lot. It tells me that it's not. It tells me a lot. I can't really put it into words right now, but it's not your typical inner city. Let's just say that. Then there's 68 cash deals. I can tell by looking at this box called the Flipper Agents. This is basically agents that have helped cash buyers. That means you can contact them personally. You have their phone number right in there, right? And they can refer you. You can partner with them literally to make money together. You pay them 3-6%. They're happy to do business with you just for finding their clients deals, right? So they've worked with clients. Literally, that's what that means. These are agents that have worked with cash buyers, okay? But also, most cash buyers are also professionals in the business of real estate themselves. There's 17,000 on record here. Now, not all of them have done business in recent times, so just keep that at the back of your mind. There are 219 out of 323,000, let's just say 300,000 properties. There are 200,000 properties with more than 50% equity, meaning less than 50% of the equity is owed against it in bank loans. That's a good thing because it creates space for you to make money. Because if somebody is owing more than 50%, let's say they're owing 75% in mortgage loan, there's very little space. By the time you factor in closing costs, there's not space for you to make money unless a short sale happens, right? So I gotta get used to the fact that you can see my whole screen here, but this is a good thing. I like it. All right, I should suck in my, maybe you can see my 6-packs. Make sure I don't have 6-packs. I'm just kidding. All right, then we can see 5,000 vacant properties. That's a good thing. That present opportunity. Vacant properties means a property that's owned by somebody that is not producing anything. Now, some of them, a percentage of them will be second homes, right? If it's a second vacation home, it's probably empty a lot, right? And there's also discrepancies in every single one of these data you see. So, but they are good place to start from. All right. So Portland, Oregon. So let's go to. I'm gonna click into. So I have a filter that I preset into this box here that I saved into this box. Let's see if I could. Yeah. Basically, this is a save. These are all saved searches, and you can basically mess around with them. You can delete some of this, and you can save some of them, you know, like that. So they are based on particular criteria, right? So I have an 11 points that I use. I can literally click into it. I can see there are 0 properties in my 11 points, meaning there are filters that I've set in there, and there are certain criteria that I like my properties to be in, and I can see that none of the properties in Portland fits that. But I can relax those filters. Some people call them stacks. They are basically stack of search filters that narrows down to what I like to see. But I can see, so let me click into it. I call it V2 because there used to be a version of it called V1, right? And I change them around based on what you see, all these different criteria here. But I'm just gonna click this box, and you can see I have 0 properties on this right now. But I can go into the filters, right? I'm in Portland, Oregon, right? You can see how tight this is, right? Residential, right? Even this one's any, and it's still no properties that fit in. But if you look here, I have estimated equity. Let's see. It's supposed to be 50% or more, right? That could be a reason, maybe an error in what I have saved here. No, actually, oh look, there's an error here. So I made a boo-boo here in what I saved here. Maybe one of my assistants made a mistake. It's supposed to be 50% equity. I need minimum of 50% equity, right? 100,000. I need estimated value of the properties be between 100 and 500,000. Why? Because if it's less than 100,000, there's not space for me to make $10,000-$20,000. That's how I like to make my money. I've made up to $82,000 in one single deal, and I average about 15 to 30,000 on a deal. It just depends. I haven't really done the math, but that's what I average just off of the back of my head. I made as low as $0 on the deal before, meaning I had to walk out of the deal and made nothing, right? Made money later on because we structured something that we're able to carry a note, and then the note was paid a few months later, right? About $5,000. So it wasn't bad, right? But I've had to walk away from a deal. I thought it was the end of it because, again, that's why this is a numbers game. You want to keep the pipeline flowing, right? The same thing you want to do when you're cold calling, by the way. You want to keep a pipeline flowing. Let me make sure that you guys can still hear me. All right, perfect. You want to keep the pipeline flowing because you never know. Deals do fall apart or fall through, they call it in the industry, right? All right, so if you look at some of my criteria, they have to be residential, single family, multi-family, up to 4 family properties. I like to exclude anything that has homeowners association, meaning that's community living, like condos, co-ops. I don't like to deal with those. There are people that do deals with those and make money, by the way. I don't want any properties that I'm marketing to be on the market, so it's a no. So I'll tell you right now, just off of my criteria, I will stay out of Portland because it says 0. Because why? There are like how many cities in the United States? I don't have to stay in there, right? But I'm just showing you some of the examples here, right? Foreclosure status, I like my foreclosure status to have at least a notice of default, meaning they owe money. They're late on the property, right? They're late on payment of the property, right? I like to deal with owners who are individuals. You can deal with LLCs. I've closed deals that are LLC owners as well. I just kind of like to direct all my marketing dollars, time, and resources in the direction of individuals, right? Because they are usually less sophisticated owners who think they had their values, who think their property is worth more than what it is, right? And then I like to suppress. You see here it says suppress active bankruptcy. If it's actively in the bankruptcy court, I don't want to deal with that. There are people that know how to deal with that and make money from it. It's not my niche. So there's multiple different ways to make money in this, right? Estimated value, like I said, 100 to 500,000 that I market to. There are people that have done deals that they made $200,000 from one single deal because they dealt with a $2 million home, right? It's completely up to you. Just keep in mind that everyone will pay their dues one way or the other. So if you go deal with a bunch of properties that are worth 20,000, you make a little bit of money, but but you probably can do volume as well, right? But if you're doing like $2 million homes, you do less volume, but you can make a killer from one deal, right? So just keep that at the back of your mind. All right, so I'm looking at all of this and it's not showing still. My filter is not showing anything, right? So, but anyway, let's go look at let's go to another city, right? Let's see what we can pull up in another city, right? Let's go to go to Denver, Colorado, or Seattle, Washington. Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado. As you can see, there are multiple did you know that there are 5 different Denvers around the nation? There's Denver, obviously the most popular one is Colorado. Excuse me, all right. Another one in North Carolina, right? Another one in Pennsylvania. Did you know that? There's a Denver city in Texas. And I think this is Iowa. Anyway, we're looking for the most popular one, which is probably a city. And we can see that there are 4 properties that fit my criteria here, right? And you can see those 4 properties because I already had the filter saved in here because I'm in a session, in a use session, right? Or user session. So I see all of these properties right here. I see Lipan Drive, right? So let's make Lipan Drive the property of the day. How is that? Let's work with this one. Yep, let's work with that one. All right, so now we see this property. You can see some of the details here. Pre-foreclosure, we know it's in pre-foreclosure because my pre-saved filter makes that a thing. You have to be in pre-foreclosure, right? With community loan servicing, but they're late, right? They owe $188,000 on this property. I also know that the property is worth potentially up to $400,000, between $356,000 and $416,000. I can easily scroll through here. This is the actual lien, but this was recorded. All right, so this was recorded on just a few weeks ago in December of 2021, right? So it may be a new loan. Who knows, right? Who knows? Let's look at lien. There is a lien with a judgment against this property. This is something that we have to make sure it's not clouding up the title, okay? But we don't worry about that right now. The most important thing you worry about is reaching out to whoever the present owner is. So you go under here, you can see Carlos, right? If you go here and we look at this recorded data, okay, this is the recording of the notice of default. Okay, this is the actual notice of default, meaning you're late on your payment. We like to see that. It's a sign that they're distressed. They may need to get rid of this property. All right, so if you go on the comparables, you can see that majority of these properties are in the 400,000s. All right, so they're late. They owe a little bit less than 200,000 on the property. They're late. Yeah, we may want to reach out to them, right? Okay, like that. Tax lien, boom, boom, boom. All right, so we don't do too much of analysis on the property until we actually have a lead. Why so? Okay, let me show you the 5 stages of this whole process. Thank you from the mud. Let's see, let me show that. Thank you. All right, so we don't really because of this right here, let me show you this. All right, you see those 5 stages right there, right? The 5 stages. There's data, so we're just looking at data, right? There's contact, meaning you have to contact them. So it includes basically pulling their contact information and then initiating contact with those people. You can send the postcards, you can make a phone call, you can send a text message. I like the idea of postcards and text messages. Now, one of the things that I want to tell you right now is that in this game right now, a lot of people think they have to be reaching out to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people in a month before they can close the deal. That is not true. Obviously, if you're able to do that, if you have the resources to do that, that will increase your chances of hitting a deal. It's just a numbers game, right? But to get your first deal, you don't have to play the numbers game at that level. You can keep it down to quality, okay? Like I said, it's 4 properties that we just saw, right? So we don't really do too much analysis until we get to stage 3, which is leads. Somebody says, yes, I'm interested in buying a property. All right, so let's go back in there. Let's go back. All right, so let's go back in there. So let's go back here. All right, great. So this particular software, you can literally do everything from it, everything, including initiating contact and generating leads, right? That's the whole point. It's a source of data for all the data you're gonna need. You get access to 10,000 downloadable data every single month, and that's really all you need to do this business. All right, so we go here. So we see all these 4 properties, right? I can literally go here and I can add this to a list, right? And then you create a new list, and this will be called Denver, Colorado, right? And I'm gonna call it 11 PTS. That's 11.32. All right, so I'm saving those 4 properties. I'm gonna go after those 4 properties. You keep it simple. Do everything in your power. So you're not you. So the thing is that a lot of people don't understand is that you have the game of quality and quantity that you can play against each other. It's just a matter of what do you have enough resource for. Do you have time? Then do everything in your power to go after the owners of these properties, right? And if you're local in that city, yes, I would drive by absolutely and offer. Don't go there and say, hey, I know your property is in foreclosure. You want to go there and say, hey, I'm interested in this property. You open to selling it. That's it, right? You could do that. Now, be safe out there, okay? Just be safe out there. So I'm gonna click close here. I can go under skip tracing, okay? Under skip tracing, and I can select a contact. I go under select contact. The one I just saved is what? Denver. You scroll down by alphabetical order. Right there. There's the 4 properties right there. And I will basically go through this process, right? Add selected. Once I click add selected, I can click done. So now I can go through this process. I'm not going to do that here because it's to show my payment credit card information, as you can see on step 2 payment, right? But you basically pay 10 cents to find the contact information of each record. How much is that? What, 40 cents? You get a hold of this people's contact information and you try to give them a call. Listen, all you have to do is consistent with this. Now, like I said, it's a numbers game. If you have the resources to do this at scale, at 10,000, 20,000, obviously to increase your chances of closing the deal faster. It will also show that you're a shark in this game. But I'm letting you know right now that you don't have to. A lot of people are getting lost in the idea that everything has to be volume. No, it was never used to be volume. I didn't do volume. I did it like 100 in any given week when I started back in 2005. You can do the same thing. 100 times 10 cents will cost you what? Can we do that math really quickly? 100 times 10 cents. Move that over three. What was that, like $10? Okay, something like that, right? You get this contact and you sit down on your phone and you make some calls, right? And then not only that, you send them postcards, right? You send them postcards. You can do all of that from here. I'm going to click cancel here. So once you create that, you can go under campaign, right? And you can send them postcards directly from here, okay? This training step by step on how to use this by simply going through the help button right here, and there's more than enough training on how to do this stuff step by step tutorial. So that's postcards, that's phone card. Not only that, you can also jump on your phone and send them text messages, something very simple, and say, hey, I'm interested in this property at this location, right? All right, so that's how simple this business is. A lot of people complicate it. Once they call you, you've generated a lead, okay? Once they've called you, you've literally generated a lead. I'm about to show you what stage you are right now. That would be stage 3 of this process. That makes sense? That means somebody is interested in selling. Never mind the numbers yet. They're interested in doing business with you. And that's all that matters. And then it's time to negotiate. How do you negotiate? You make an offer. An offer has to be 65% minus the estimated cost of repair of the property. 65% of the value of the property. So you have to do, now you come back to the same software and you can do a quick evaluation of what the property is worth. So let's say, for example, the person at E78 called me, East 78 place, right? I pull this up, I go under comparables, right? I set this to 1. That means anything within 1 mile radius of that property, right? I like this to be residentials only. I like that to be residentials only. I like this to be, I don't mind, I'll do multifamily up to 2-4 family. So, well, when I did that, there's not too many in that area, right? So I'm going to put single as well. There you go. That's what I did wrong, right? And then I'm going to go back and sort based on distance from the property, right? And then I'll deselect everything. I select the first 3 on that. That's the closest to the property. It's telling me that this property can go as much as up to $452,000. We know that this property is probably going to need some work, right? So $452,000. I'm going to go back to a tool called the dealestimator.com. Estimator.com. Let me make sure I'm showing that on the screen. All right, that's dealestimator.com right there. It's a free tool that I designed that you can use to make an offer, right? You see where it says MAO calculator? You click on that, right? 65%. I'm going to paste that number, the value here, right? If they told me that it needs very little work, cosmetic, I'll just click small rehab. If they told me that it needs some work, it can use some repairs here and there and stuff like that, I'm going to click medium, right? And if they said full rehab, like got it, like it needs complete rehab, then I'll put this, right? As you're selecting this one, it's telling you, it's giving you, it's estimating repairs. These are estimates, okay? No, it's not close to accurate. The person who is actually going to buy the property will still do an assessment of the property. But this is a great place to start from. So if they said cosmetic work, I'm just going to trust their words. I'm going to put that. That means repair estimate based off of that value, about $22,000 will factor into the math to do the work. It's telling me that we cannot offer more than $271. Now, if I go back to the software, PropStream, right? I can see here that they're only owing how much? They're owing on the mortgage $93,000, right? How do I know? Because I already set in my filters that I need 50% or more in equity, right? So they're owing $93,000, right? So so that means there's room for them to still make money if I offered what my maximum allowable offer of 271 or 266 is, right? I'm not going to just offer them 266. I'm going to feel on them and say, hey, how much are you willing to walk away with? They may turn around and say, well, we owe about $93,000 on it, and you know the bank is looking to take their money. It's a useless property. Well, unpaid balance is $135,000. You see under pre-foreclosures. So I'm going to say, like, if I get $20,000, I'll walk away from the property. That means you can pay $155 for this property, and you can afford to pay up to $271, right? You can afford to pay, depending on what kind of city it is too, right? But let's say you have room, like $100,000 room right there. Let's say they say, no, if I don't get $200,000, I'm not going to sell. You have room for $71,000. You lock it up under contract, and then you go back into the same software, right? If you go back, you could literally do this from here. I'm going to click X, right? And you go under Flipper Agents. That's 6 different real estate agents right there. And you click on one of this. This is a property that was bought and sold cash. And you scroll down under the MLS details. You could do that right under here. MLS details, you scroll down. You can see the details of the agent. Let's see. You see the phone number right here? You give them a call and say, hey, I noticed you represented a buyer that purchased a cash deal. They flipped a house. Well, I have a deal that I can't use right now. I wanted to know if you'll be happy to share with your client, and I'll pay you full commission. They love to hear that. You're bringing value to them. Does that make sense? You're bringing value to agents. That's how you stay in the business, as opposed to trying to compete with them, right? So that's it right there. You can find cash buyers through that. You can also click into cash buyers over here, okay? And that's a filter that I set up. You can set yours up. You see this? It's right under there, under filters, just in case yours looks blank. And these are all cash buyers. And you can go under the filter. You can set this up to ownership info to be only within the last 1 year. So you can put this on 2021, and you can set this right, and to reduce the number of on the list to see from 18,000 to 1,600 cash buyers. But at least you know that these are people that have done recent deals in the area. Okay. All right. So that's that right there. But here's something I wanted to share with you really quickly about cold calling. There's regulations coming. Okay. There's regulations coming, and there are some places where once they said don't call me, you call them again, you risk the chances of getting into trouble, right? As a matter of fact, with that being said, let me show you that. And there's nothing new about that when you're in the business, okay? A lot of people are panicking all over the place, but I understand, because a lot of you guys are not business owner originally, and you're coming into the game of entrepreneurship, and the last thing you want is not being able to sleep at night. I feel your pain. Okay, I feel your pain. So with that being said, there's this news here that I'm actually gonna, I think it's this one right here. All right, so it's not just you going through regulations. Okay, look at this headline right here. January 6th committee subpoena Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit in probe of Capitol attack. Okay, this is something that happened like a little bit over a year ago, with respect to, you know, the presidency, the White House, and all this kind of stuff, Donald Trump, right? But now, obviously, Facebook, see, once you start trading in the arenas of becoming an entrepreneur, there are litigations, there's legal issues, there are people that will say they don't like what you're doing. It's not the end of the world. You handle issues as they come accordingly, okay? I've had to deal with a lot over the years. It's been 16 years precisely, right? And you know, there are times that things happen that I'm not happy about. Not necessarily litigation, but even things like simple as, you know, random refunds. You know, our refund rate is extremely low here, but it happens, right? And when it happens, what do? We just honor our words, right? We're not happy to see that, right? I don't care how little it is, right? I hate to lose a person, period, a customer. I'm very happy when the same level that I'm very happy when I'm able to help somebody is the same level that I'm not happy when I lose, even though there are so many people that are happy. But just those one single ones that stands out makes a lot of difference for us because of the impact, of the direct impact, right? So with that being said, I'm sharing that with you just to let you know, like, prepare your mind for that. You know, that's part of doing business. It's part of what makes you alpha in this community of people. You're a leader, right? That's the whole point. And sometimes that, you know, to whom much is given, much is expected. And that's what you see here. Let me see here what they're talking about here. The House Select Committee investigating the deadly Capitol riot has subpoenaed social media giants Twitter, Reddit, and the parent companies of Facebook and Google. That's now Meta, and what's Google again? Alphabet, right? The panel's chairman said Thursday the bipartisan committee, had asked for a trove of records last summer from those and other social companies, but said it received inadequate responses from some of the largest platforms. See, they have large legal departments to handle this kind of stuff. Nonetheless, they have to handle issues as they come, and based on priority, some of them can potentially get them in serious trouble. For the most part, it's just business as usual. And that's the point I'm making here. There are regulations coming if you're cold calling, right? And if somebody says, don't call me again, Don't get hung up on that one lead. That's just one lead. Suppress it right away. Add it to your do not call list. Every platform for cold calling has a way to set do not call list. You just hit one button. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, Mojo Sales is the most popular one, I think. It's called Mojo. You could go to mojosales.com, and that helps you suppress. Now if you're calling people manually with your cell phone and you're calling four people like the example I gave today, you don't have to worry about that. Your business is not significantly big yet. One deal can make you suddenly big, $20,000, right? So but we're talking about you're just getting started. So am I afraid? Should you be afraid of calling a person that's been added to not do not call list? No, no, because it's not really it's not considered a commercial call, because you're just calling the person and offering them, asking them if they're open to selling a property. You're not offering them to sell them something. You're asking if they're open to the idea of selling you something, especially at a very small scale. And that's the beauty about this business. Then when you now close your first $20,000 deal, by the way, my first deal was $10,000 back in December 2005. When you now close that first deal, right, then you have some money to pay for. How much did they pay here? The pricing is what, like $100 or so? Things. Okay, like $100 for a single line, which is good enough to get to the next level, right? You just want to scale up slowly like that. The key thing in all of this is consistency. That's the secret. Consistency. And the next level secret is positioning yourself for consistency, because as a human being like myself, you're incapable of consistency unless you set yourself up with accountability systems, accountability partners, right? And accountability, whatever tools, set alarms on your phone and stuff like that. But the one thing that most people fail at is consistency. It's not because you didn't do enough volume. It's none of that. It's because you're not consistent. Okay, if you're not consistent, if you mistakenly close one deal, you will have a hard time closing the second deal. That's if you close one at all, right? So that's that right there. I just wanted to share that with you in regards to for cold calling or even text messaging as well. There are regulations in multiple different states right now. There's not much for you to worry about, especially if you're getting started. There's not much for you. Just make sure you're not cheating, you're not stealing, you're not lying. If somebody says don't call me again, you have 10,000 access to 10,000 records using this piece of software, right? You don't have to stick with anyone per anyone lead because they change their mind. If they change and say, hey, good luck, let me know. If they say that, you keep them on a follow-up list and you follow up with them 3 months from now. Say, hey, just checking in. Were you able to sell the property? I mean, let me know if anything happens. I'm interested, right? That's a very harmless call to make to anyone, right? So it depends on what you're doing. Now, if you're aggressive, if you can't read the room, if you're not able to pick up that this person doesn't want you to call you anymore, if you're socially awkward, you may have problems. So you have to learn how to pick up little vibes here and there like that. But you're a normal human being. Act like a normal human being, if that makes any sense to you at all. But yes, that can make all the difference in the world, right? So yes, I would definitely say with cold calling, you definitely want to make sure that your do not call list is tight and make sure you're hitting that button and add them to do not call list so you don't get in trouble if you're starting to scale up and you're calling a lot of people. If you're calling 500 people per hour or anything like that, you definitely want to make sure that you're hitting that button when somebody curses you out. They say no and say, where'd you get my number from or anything like that. Just suppress them. You're looking for one deal in any given month, okay? You have access to 10,000 pieces of records in any given month. The numbers works out fine. Work out fine. You don't have to be aggressive or be in any way in any one particular lead. You never want to put any one particular lead, no matter how sweet it sound close to a deal. Don't put it on a pedestal. Don't put yourself on a pedestal. That's what I meant actually when I said consistency is key here. You want to set yourself up to win. If you're watching me, by the way, and you haven't had it to the like button, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I would really, really appreciate that. That would make all the difference in the world. All right. So let's get back to some business here. All right. So what else do we have here going on here? All right, so today the market, let's find out why the market fell nearly 200 points today. Let's find out. US stocks struggled on Thursday as a rebound in tech stocks faded. All right, so there was a rebound, but it faded into thin air. All right. Erasing gains from earlier this week. The S&P 500 slid 4,000 plus points. NASDAQ, let me make this a little bigger. While the NASDAQ composite fell 14,000 points, 200 points on the Dow Jones. Weakness in big tech stocks, including drops, Amazon, Microsoft. I'm trying to pick up if there's any particular reason outside of normal stuff. Shares of Snap dropped roughly. Virgin Galactic, 19%. That's huge. Ooh, 19%. Electric vehicle stock, Tesla. We know that's temporary, right? The slide in tech ended a 3-day rally for the NASDAQ. Okay, so it's been 3 days since we've been here, right? Tech stocks have been volatile to start 2022. Yes, remember that rally? That Santa Claus rally? Yeah. It's not sustaining in the short term, right? Have been volatile to start 2022 as the Federal Reserve, okay, is still the inflation and the interest rate issue. All right, so we talked about this in the last session. It's a short-term issue still, by the way. Federal Reserve has signaled it will fight inflation. Well, it will fight inflation, even though they created inflation. Every time they print money, meaning they're giving free money away to the citizens, that's printing money. Meaning, when you say print money, you're making the money less valuable, right? The money that's sitting in your pocket, the cash, is becoming less and less valuable in your pocket. It's reducing the value. It's reducing the purchasing power, right? And so, but it's the government that basically manipulates these things, depending on what's going on in the world, pandemic, COVID, blah, 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 job market, things like that, right? Including rate hikes. So rate hikes is designed to fight that, right? When the Fed, the central bank, when they reduce the rate, basically they're making money cheaper, but they're printing money. When you make money cheaper, what does that mean? You're reducing the value of the money, right? So this is something you're going to see over and over. It's a recurring thing. Once you master it, it's easy for you to also assess value when it comes to business in general. And assessing value is something that I see most people have trouble doing. When I tell them that, hey, you can pick up a property for $0, no money down there, they say, what do you mean? That doesn't make any sense, because your business IQ is very low, and it starts with things as simple as inflation, interest rate. Why is money costing money? That doesn't make any sense from a common sense standpoint. It almost doesn't make sense, but if you think that's common sense, that's congratulations, you've been learning, right? When the Fed is not your friend, you sell rallies. Yeah. Let's see here. Someone said, get me out of tech. Well, they're selling off tech. But again, it's a short-term thing. If you're playing this game properly, you should be sitting on good fundamentals for long-term. Good fundamentals meaning a strong business, a business that is here to stay regardless of what's going on, ups and downs, blah, 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 right? Let's see what's going on with Delta Airlines. Strong earnings reports provided some positives for the market on Thursday. Delta Airlines posted a beat on profit. That's beautiful. You remember when all of the major airlines were worth less than Zoom, the same Zoom that we use for live sessions, right? That was like 2 years ago when everywhere shut down, right? Reaffirmed full year, but anybody who was smart at that time would have, if you had money sitting on the side, those were bargains. Those were cheap stocks that you could have purchased at that time, right? Let's see, and reaffirmed full year guidance, sending its share up more than 2%. Let me actually see what that looks like. All right, so let's look at 1 year. That stock is getting beat up. I mean, it got beat up. Let's look at 5 years. Okay, so 5 years. So this was what happened that I was just talking about. right? In 2020, early 2020, what happened? Delta Airline went from $60 to what? What was this? $19. At this point, you know that Delta Airline is not gonna stay there. If you had money sitting on the side, only if you had money sitting on the side, don't sell. If anything like this happened, don't go and sell your life savings to buy, by the way. But if you have money sitting on the side, this is a great place to come in and say, you know what, I know Delta is not going anywhere because fundamentals are strong. It's just because some life event was happening at that point in time. But you can see it looks like struggle over the short term, but in 1 year it came back up to 40. So if you bought at 19, your money would have doubled already. Keep in mind that if you bought just 1 year before this point, your money was basically stagnant. This is value. This is how you have to learn how to read value. Okay? Now, we're looking at this right now. It's at $41, right? So your money would have doubled here, but it would have spiked up to 50 and then settle back here. And then the losers will panic and sell off because they see a tumble, forgetting that this was all because of the pandemic. I just wanted to show you that on how this works in real life. It's the same thing in real estate, in any business. Any short-term moves, anything like that, you still pay attention. Obviously, you don't want to be sleeping when something bad happens, but more so, you want to pay attention to fundamentals. Learn the skills from a fundamental standpoint, and you will never go hungry again in your life. That's basically the point. All right, so the market is just basically being emotional today. That's all it is, and it still has to do with looks like it has a lot to do with the interest rates. All right, so let's look here. Soaring used car prices. I told you about this some few live sessions ago that car prices are basically spiking, right? And some people will rush to the dealership and say, you know what? The value of my car based on Kelly Blue Book says blah, 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 blah. I'm about to go trade it in and for a brand new car. And then when you got there are two things that happen. You didn't find any brand new car, or they started telling you, well, we have to order it and it's going to cost you this much, right? Forgetting that across board, it's all expensive, right? Inflation is everywhere. So people ask me all the time, when is the right time to come into the real estate market, right? So when is the right time to come into the real estate market? When is the right time to come into the real estate market? Every time is the right time. It depends on what you're looking at. What is your frame of reference, right? What's your frame of reference? My frame of reference at any point in time is 6 months to 1 year, 6 to 12 months, right? I look at the market and then I buy or sell based on what the market said in the last 6 to 12 months. So, oh yeah, when we present offers to people and we go present like an offer at $125,000 and they go like, are you crazy? I purchased the property 10 years ago at $200,000. And then you look at it, yeah, that's 10 years ago though. That's 10 years ago, yeah. But in the last 12 months, your property is worth, you can look at the report right here. These are the properties. This property sold right opposite your house. This house over there, and this other house is next block. And they all sold at 130. And I'm an investor, so I need to make money on this. I understand that that you need to get rid of it. That's what you told me on the phone, right? Why do you need to sell? Why do you need to sell again, right? These are the conversation. You just make it very human, right? Why do you need to sell? How soon do you need to sell? Okay, so here's the deal. If you need to sell, you need to close in 10 to 15 days. Then the cost of that is the price. Now, if you're willing to put the house on the market for 100 days, with a chance that it still won't sell, you may be able to get $130,000 for it. But for me, I'll give you $85,000 right now. We'll lock it up under contract and I'll get to work. Right? You negotiate. It's time versus money. That's how you value marketplaces and stuff like that. I'm sharing all of this with you just so you can, again, the idea of this, of what you come here to learn that I'm going to be teaching you is how to assess the market and how to make offers, how to sell right, how to buy right, because ultimately you're looking to buy low and sell high. That's how you make money. Your money is in the hands of somebody else already, but you're not going to make money if you don't understand how game of life and business works, right? So let's look at what they're saying here with the cars, right? Despite President Joe Biden's upbeat comment on what seemed to be early signs of a peak in inflation, let me just make sure. Sorry about that. Used car prices continue to rise at levels not seen at any time this century prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Biden administration has blamed much of the rising inflation rates in the country on the used vehicle market. Well, the used vehicle market is blaming it on Biden, by the way. The problem which the White House acknowledges is that there is not much it can do to assist in lowering the rates right now. In the past 20 years, used cars' contribution to inflation averaged 0. It's now more than 1%. Do you see how big of a difference that is? On a year-over-year basis, according to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in December, prices consumers paid for goods and services rose 0.5, while used cars prices raised. So you see, that's a weighted comparison. They're comparing to every other goods in the market, and that's stupidly too high. Based on weighted calculation of that price change, and see, I just said weighted. I didn't know it was coming. Oh, by the way, I read this in real time with you, and I just use it as commentary because this is how I learn the market and business. Okay, this is how I increased my business IQ. Okay. All right, so based on weighted calculation of that price change, Americans' demand for used cars, the used cars contributed 0.112 percentage points to the overall. Right, it's weighted because if you, it's pulling the curve in the wrong direction, right? That one type of product, cars, right? Used cars. The price of used cars is also having a historical high impact on overall headline inflation. So again, it's coming back to inflation. When everybody was happy and printing money, nobody thinks about this. Most people don't. But some of us are like, okay, all this money you're printing, somebody's going to have to pay for it. Someone has to pay for it. Who is you and I? Okay, so, but because of that, if you learn this stuff, you can reallocate some of your resources, your assets accordingly, just understanding that inflation is going to affect it in one area more than the other. Okay, that's some of the things that you should pay attention to. All right, so yeah, I think that's it. Let's do a quick recap of what you have here. Like I said, go ahead and download the 2 free books. By the way, I have 2 free books that I've written. Let me just make sure that you can see me now. This is awesome. Yeah. This book's right here, Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. Okay, will teach you from a smart digital standpoint. Then I have Real Estate Money Secrets, another beautiful book, teaches you everything you need to learn about different avenues to make money in real estate. Okay, these are grammatical error free, but they're not perfect. Okay, when you want to read this book, you're reading it like you want to learn a new skill set and not English language. Okay, but trust me, you will understand. If you understand me as I'm talking, you will understand what's in the book. All right, so Real Estate Money Secrets, and they're available for free at the same platform, realestatemoneysecrets.com. It will give you access, instant access to what you may call it. It will give you instant access to so I lost my train of thought. It will give you instant access to the free masterclass as well as 2 free courses. Okay, and you just take that serious. Also, you get access to my private line, so you can ask me questions directly as you go. Again, I do have a coaching program, but you don't have to sign up for that if you're serious enough. If you feel like you want to, only if you feel like you need my personal time involved, and you want to increase, you want to reduce your learning curve, then yes, that will help a lot. Okay, but on this platform right here, all you have to do is stay plugged in, hit the like button, hit the share button. That will increase the chances that you will see when I do drop the videos. I drop videos every day or so. You want to make sure you're watching those videos that I drop. If you haven't seen the last 20 videos that I've dropped, go back and watch every single one of them. Most of the averaging, they're averaging about 8 minutes. Okay, but there are gems and nuggets that you want to pick up from those. You want to pick up from them, you know. Let's see here. All right. Now, what else? What else? What else? What else? Let me see. There's something else I want to make sure. Yeah, the software. Give it a shot. Give it a try. Try play around with it. You know, I think you're gonna like it. Let me see here. Pardon me for a second. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you how to save a filter before we leave. All right, so you notice that there was an error that I made on my filter earlier. So I want to click into this. I'm going to save a V3 right now. I'm going to save it as V3. So the V2 has an error in it. I'm going to click it, right? All right, so the first thing when you're saving filters in PropStream, you want to make sure that this is clean, that this is empty. So because if it's there, it's going to save it with a city. So click clear all first, right? And when you do that, you can click on the filter, which is that. And if you look here now, I now have the filter, but no locations. So what I need to correct is essentially this part right here. Scroll down. So instead of saying $50 in equity, that's not what I wanted. I need this to say 50% in equity. Right, there you go. I'll click this, and I'm gonna click save search. And I'll call it 11 PTS V3, and that's how you save your searches, right? So I'm actually going to replace this one, include on home screen, and I'm going to replace this V3, and I'm going to click save and say okay. So now I have V3 here now. So let's see, the V3 is here now. I can clear all. So if we go to, let's go to Seattle, Washington. Is it one T or two T's? There you go. I think it's two T's. Seattle, Washington has it right there, but there's 0 properties, but there are 52 pre-foreclosure. I'll just go after all 52 pre-foreclosure. You know, if it's less than 100, I'm looking usually for me personally. If I were you, I'll go after 100 in any given week. All right, and then so but that's now saved. Okay, it's now saved it right there, and that's how you save all of this. You can basically use the save search and anything like that. So I wanted to share that with you really quickly before we call it a day, right? So now let me see something. Boom, let me hit this. There you go. All right, so thank you so much. I had fun again as usual. We covered some of the things going on in the news, market wise. We got to pick up some new nuggets, and please, more than anything, I need your support. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I need your support. I'm not charging anything here. Everything I do here is basically free. Over 1,200 free videos. There's 2 courses, 2 books, all for free, unless you want it physically like this. But the downloads are free, absolutely free PDFs. You get instant access to them. 2 courses, 2 free, 1 masterclass for free. There's a 3 hours masterclass, by the way. And at the end of it, yes, I do make an offer if you want my coaching, but you don't need my coaching. I'm letting you know right now, unless you just want to dramatically reduce your learning curve and you want direct access to me, obviously, but you don't. I'm just letting you know right now that there's a flood of courses all over the place in the marketplace for that you don't need. And I'm telling you right now, even mine, you don't, okay? Because I have free courses here. You can get going, you can ask questions, and as long as you're able to manage those kind of things, we can get you going. Ask questions. I don't care if you purchase another guru's courses somewhere. If you have questions, you can ask me. I'll be happy to help you here, and hopefully we can make some money together at some point too. That would be lovely. All right. So hopefully you've been, what's the word? Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. And I'll see you on the next one. And peace.